Ford, aka Harrison Ford F-150. We're working with him on some of his activity, primarily stop, or even if they stop, they do it again the next day. You have to be really clear. When I say no, I don't want you doing this tomorrow. I don't want you doing this. Just stop doing it, okay? So we're actually working with him on multiple things here. Reactivity around dogs, because we got Rue here. We got our friend Alex who stopped by, and we have him here. And we're just working on him, holding this down position, staying calm. M&ET, come on M&ET. Folks, if you have 2 dogs in your household, use that to your advantage. And if you have a reactive dog, make sure that they are listening to you independent of what your other dog is doing. Oftentimes in a multi-dog household, we don't treat the dogs separately. We don't make them listen to us while the other dog is doing different stuff. The more you do that stuff, the better, you know? The more you're like, hey, okay. But if you are struggling with having your dog, like one of them lay down and you snuggle the other one, that's something you can work on in your house. And developing those skills is going to help your dog in the public. When you say, hey, pay attention to me, don't worry about what this Rottweiler's doing walking around. We just work on little things like this, having him hold it. And folks, if we use the training tools and the leash and the rewards when we are in the house, the dog's going to have a good association. That's another thing, is people don't use the leash in the house. They don't use the leash around their other dog. Yes, they don't use the leash and the remote collar when the dog is doing well. And so the dog doesn't really associate the remote collar and the leash with doing well. Good boy. Nope. Down. Good. They see the remote collar and the leash as something that kind of stops them from doing what they ultimately want to do. That's not good. Yes. So we were using the remote collar here, and we've used it a lot in the yard, and then we've noticed when we take him out in public, he does so good. There we go. Sit. Down. Good. Down. Down. Let's go. Also, the slip lead can be really helpful. To use your slip lead will really help you understand if your dog understands the leash or not. That'll help you address that. Don't feed her. She's crying. Don't feed that dog. That dog's crying, Bridge. You need to correct her with the leash. Tell her no, because you're about to feed her for crying. You're going down Malsey Avenue there. Management Avenue. Folks, management's not the goal. Okay? And we're talking right here with this reactive pup we're trying to get adopted. Don't let that crying and whining be tolerated, folks. Good. Good boy, Ford. Look at this engagement I have with him. Okay? Good. If you want to, when you're ready, you could let him say hi when she like impresses you. Then be like, go say hi, and just drop the leash and let her go greet him. Good. Just walk, like take a step forward and be like, okay, go say hi, and then walk over to him. Then you go greet him too. Let the leash be loose. Yep, there you go. So look at that, folks. Like, she was able to greet her friend, but she had to wait and hold a down command for like 10 minutes. Ford's the same way. If when people come over, you make him work and earn and control his impulses, you can then let him say hi to people. But if he off the bat is just like jumping and crazy, and then he gets pet by people, we're creating a picture that being around people means being very aroused, and being around people does not mean you're listening. So it's not always the case, and this is what is frustrating. The dogs are all so different, folks. Down. You might have a dog like this or like my M&ET that, guys, they're just not smart. I mean, I love them to death, but they're just not smart enough to understand, hey, I only want you excited when I come home for a couple minutes and the rest of the time calm down. No, like they get really excited and they just do crazy stuff. Good job, good. No, that's another thing. When I'm rewarding for being in command, look at his hips. Down. No. Down. No. Down. No. 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 Watch as I move here. The position of the hips tell you that the dog is not prepared to stay down. Okay? When I'm doing high, exciting obedience and I'm like, isn't he cute? When I'm doing high excited obedience and I want the dog to do a down and I throw the ball, or down and then I release them, good. Of course, I want the dog like how you see Emma is. Yes, ready to get up. But when I have a dog, I want him to settle and just be chilling for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I want the hips to the side. The hips to the side are indicating that the dog is calm. Also, the direction that their stomach is facing will tell you where they're focused. Watch as he changes his directions when I move. He might change his directions. So if you have like a reactive dog and you notice they always want to lay down with their open side facing whatever they're perceiving as a threat, realize you ultimately want them with their back to the distraction. I don't mind here because he's focusing on me. But when your dog's in a down and they're constantly repositioning themselves so that they can be facing the thing, that's not good. Good. Good, Ford. Good. Emma, center. Yes. Okay. Now we're trying to get this dog adopted. This is a young Malinois that came to us very reactive. Just a puppy. We're trying to get her adopted. Let the leash be loose. There you go. Set a little boundary there with the leash. Pull her back to you. Okay, you don't have to use as much force, just a little tug on there, okay? If she's gonna run into the road, you use a lot of force. She's gonna get hit by a car. But if you're just communicating, little tugs. Let it be loose. There you go. Little tug. Maybe tug, and if she looks up at you, give her food. Emma, Emaniti, Emaniti. Emma, no. A dog doesn't want you in her car. Look at this little pumpkin. I love this dog, but we already know she doesn't want Emma putting her head in there. 100%. Yeah, she's like, treats? Nah. Sure. Yes. No. That's the mailman who came by, guys. Notice mostly nobody barked. Yep. That's Sadie, the German short-haired pointer. We could actually address that with the remote collar. People are going to go, Eric, but she kind of stopped. I know she stopped, guys. No. No. And we didn't have the right collar on her, so we didn't address that with the remote collar, okay? Good. Do you see how he's trying harder and harder now to lay down? So I'm going to end on this note, folks. Everybody's doing well. End your sessions when things are going well, folks. Have your session be 85% successful. That means if you're trying to stop the behavior, 85% of the time they stop it and they don't try to do it again. That means if you're trying to teach a new behavior, that means 8 out of 10 times when you say the command, the dog does it, like the first time. If you're trying to use a training collar, that means every time you pull on the prong collar, the dog does the command. Move her behind you. Move her behind you. You stay where you are. Move her behind you. Let the leash be loose there. She's just trying to smell. There you go. So that positioning is important. When the dog's kind of in front of you, they're going to be more reactive. Don't give in there. Set a little boundary. You can smell rude. Just don't pull me around on the leash. That's fine. You can drink water. Just don't pull me around on the leash. Good boy, Ford. But I'm not rewarding him. He just broke out of his command. Nope. So he just lost the reward. That was more of a break. Break. Sit. Down. Good. Good boy. Good. Emaniti. Emaniti, come. This is what I mean, okay? Emaniti, yes. Okay, I love you guys dearly. We'll see you next time. Take care.